Knowing what to pack when you're outdoor climbing can be a little bit confusing, and there's nothing worse than having to haul 50 pounds of gear to the crag only to have stuff that you're not going to use. So I thought it would be useful to actually go through. I've got my climbing bag here, all packed up, and I'm just going to go through it, and I'm kind of going to show you guys what I carry in my bag when I go climbing. So what's up, guys? Obviously I'm Marcus, this is Ascensionism, and like I said, this is kind of one video in a three-part series that I'm doing on an introduction to outdoor climbing. So if you're looking to go outdoor climbing for the first time, or you just want to learn more about it, I have a longer video that explains everything you need to know about that. I will put that up in the description. I would definitely recommend watching that. But in this video, I'm just going to go through my bag quickly, and we're just going to talk about some of the items that I've got in there. So let's get into it. Now, first and foremost, strapped onto the outside of my bag, I've got my climbing rope here. This is an old retired rope, but if you're climbing outdoors, you need the rope. Also, guys, some of the stuff I have in this bag is more technical gear. So I'm going to skim over kind of the technical gear because I actually have a separate video on that. I'll tag that right up in the corner there. So if you want to learn about the technical gear, like the rope and the draws that you need, go check out that video. If you want to learn about it all, go check out the longer video. And this one is kind of more just specifically about the non-technical stuff that I bring that just makes my day more comfortable and more enjoyable. First of all, actually though, I'm going to talk about the bag. So this is the Black Diamond Stone duffel bag. It's 42 liters. As you can see, it's got backpack straps here and kind of hip belt, but I can also carry it like a duffel. So this bag, I really love it. It's super useful. It's big enough to carry everything I need to carry to the crag. It's super easy at the crag to carry it around. I actually attached my own, I just kind of got these sewn on to the top to carry my rope. So if you're getting this bag, I would recommend doing that. But so you do need a backpack to carry everything when you're going outdoor climbing. I have this one. If you're just getting into it or you don't want to spend a lot of extra money, probably your day hiking pack or a backpacking pack, like a 60 liter, anything kind of in that 40 to 60 liter range is going to have enough space for you to bring the gear you need to climb outdoors. So number one is backpack. And if we open this up, you can see what's inside. I'm just going to kind of pull things out as they come. Helmet kind of falls under technical gear, so I'm not going to talk about that too much. Water bottle. Obviously you want water. This is just like a 1 liter Nalgene. Everyone who's ever hiked before has an Nalgene. I would recommend having at least 1 liter, and maybe even 2 liters is kind of better. If you're strapped for space or you don't want to carry all the weight, what you can do is you can take a liter and leave another one in the car just so you have something to drink when you get back. But water is definitely super important when you're climbing. And then I have my harness, technical gear. Again, if you want to learn more about that, you can check out the other video. Slings. Slings, I guess, they're kind of technical gear, but it's always useful to just have a few spare slings and carabiners along with you. You can build anchors with them. You can carry gear with them. Pretty useful stuff. So having a few slings is never a bad idea. Again, quick draws. That's technical gear. So I'll toss that over there. Here, this is my Patagonia down sweater hoodie. So you can see it packs up super nicely, but then once I get to the crag, I always like to kind of bring it out so that it's not losing its loft any more than necessary. So you can see that's just a down jacket. This is really nice. It's really nice to have a down jacket when you're going to the crag because you can wear it when you're belaying someone or when you're sitting around. So you normally don't spend as much time actually climbing when you're going outdoors. You spend a lot more time belaying, waiting for people to build anchors, waiting for your route to open up. So if you're in the shade or if it's kind of a cooler day, it can be really nice to have a warmer sweater to wear when you're not moving. So down sweater, if you don't have a down sweater, just any old fleece or jacket will do. Then we've got my shoes. I guess these are kind of technical gear, but also, you know, you can just use your indoor shoes. You kind of need them to rock climb. The soles will get a little more worn when you're going outdoors, so just look out for that. But any pair of climbing shoes will work. These are obviously Scarpa Vapors. I love those. So if you need a pair, that's a pretty good recommendation. Next up, we have the Sandals. These are obviously a pretty extreme and loud example. My little sister actually got these for me as a present, and yeah, they're pretty stylish if I do say so myself. So it's good to have a pair of belay sandals when you go to the crag, just because most of the time on the approach, like when you walk in, you're going to be wearing running shoes or hiking boots, and those are comfy, but it can take some time to put them on and take them off, especially if you take your shoe or if you take your socks off to put them in your climbing shoe, and then I don't know, I hate putting my bare feet in hiking boots, so I try to avoid that as much as possible. So it can then be good to just have a pair of slippers that you get down off your route, you take off your climbing shoes, you put these on. They're good for belaying in or just sitting around in. You don't need rainbow Crocs. I'm pretty sure these do make my grip strength better, but if you don't want the rainbow Crocs, Birkenstocks are pretty popular and kind of the same vibe. Flip-flops will do. Basically any kind of shoe that you can slip on and take off easily. Those will serve you well. And what else have we got? Chalk bag. Again, pretty standard stuff. You can see I've got a little brush attached to mine in case any of the holds are a little too chalky. It never hurts to bring a little bit of extra chalk either, but you know, again, that's just if you're climbing indoors, it's just a chalk bag. Here we have a guidebook. Guidebooks are super useful. So what they do is guidebooks will have different locations where you can climb, and then at those locations, they'll show the different cliffs where there are routes, and then on the cliffs, they'll show specific routes. So they have these things called topos that you can see, and a topo is basically just like a map of the wall. So when you walk up to a wall, the topo will show you the features on it, and then so it'll help you orient yourself on the cliff, and then it'll have all the routes labeled. You'll be able to know the difficulty. Some guidebooks will actually have like little descriptions of the routes. So unless you know the area super well, getting a guidebook, having a guidebook along can be really handy. I would highly recommend it. If you don't want to spend money on a guidebook, a lot of places will have free guides online. So websites like Mountain Project, or I think it's 24 Crags. There are some websites that have the routes on them. Also big climbing areas like Red River Gorge or even the Bow Valley, where I personally climb, a lot of the time they'll have topos online, but they usually won't be as up to date and they might not be organized to the same extent that a good guidebook will. So I would definitely recommend bringing a guidebook. Next, we're almost empty here. It's just a spare draw. Next we have my rope tarp. So you see, this is just a tarp. If you saw when I held up my rope there, my rope is disgusting and it's dirty, and that's part of the reason why I was retired. So rope tarp is just a tarp that you put down on the ground and then put your rope on top of it so that it doesn't pick up that dirt, because that can obviously make it gross to deal with and it can actually make it less safe. So that's something you want to avoid. And rope tarps, you don't actually have to go out and buy a dedicated rope tarp. So this one came with the duffel bag that I bought. But if you're just getting into climbing or if you want to save some money, just any old tarp will do. But these can be super useful for keeping dirt and water off your bag, and I would definitely recommend bringing one. And then we have a couple more items that wouldn't fit in the bag. So this is just a folding seat. This isn't essential. I usually don't carry one with me, but I know some people who love them. As you can see, this just like folds out and it acts as a chair. This can be handy because, like I said, when you're at the crag, you're not climbing as often as you will be indoors. So sometimes you'll climb a route and then you'll have to wait an hour or maybe longer before you can climb again. And obviously you're outside, there aren't chairs or anything around. So having a little seat that you can kind of sit on and be comfortable can just make your life more comfortable if you're spending the entire day at the crag. But obviously it's a little bulky to pack. Your friends might make fun of you for it, but it's kind of something that can be handy to have. And finally, we have a stick clip. Now, what a stick clip is, again, not essential gear, but very useful, especially for certain areas. If you're going climbing in like Joshua Tree or Red River Gorge or some of these places that have high first bolts, I would highly recommend bringing a stick clip. You're also going to be super popular at the crag because everyone's going to want to borrow your stick clip because climbing up to a high first bolt is scary. So what a stick clip does is, you can see it's kind of got these tongs at the end there, just there. You slip a quick draw into those tongs and then you can extend the stick clip like that. As you can see, this extends to like 8 or 10 feet long probably. And then you can kind of reach up above you and you can clip first bolts with it. So it means that you're not climbing unprotected up to the first bolt. This is my dad's old painter pole that I've got it attached to. And then the actual stick clip just screws off. I've got it on there pretty tight, but it does just screw off. So this little blue attachment is the stick clip that you can buy for 30 bucks. And then just stick it on any old painter pole if you've got one lying around. If not, you can buy them at Canadian Tire for like $30. So I would definitely recommend getting that. There we go, guys. That's all the gear that I like to bring when I'm climbing outdoors to keep me comfortable, to kind of make sure this stuff is less about keeping me safe. It's more just keeping me comfortable, making sure that the day is enjoyable. And yeah, that's just a little peek about what I've got in my climbing bag. Like I said, this is one video that's kind of part of a larger series that I'm doing on everything you need to know about climbing outdoors. So if you want to see that, if you want to check that video out, again, I will tag it kind of at the end of this video. There's a lot of useful information there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing, and I will see you next time.